bit more defined.
From the wing, Webster three is good.
Yeah, that was sweet. He set up a cut, changed direction, just absolutely lost Carr. Carr had no chance to guard that.
Well, Shep Gardner, who comes off the bench but is one of Penn State's best scorers and one of their more experienced players. Julian Moore is not much of a scorer inside. And that shot sort of proves the point.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And it also proves that Nebraska is looking at the scouting report, because you do not help on that guy in the post more. Nice move by Webster.
So Ty Webster, third in the Big Ten in scoring, put up big numbers. Carr pulls up. Good. So he's off to a very quick start. Chimunga, that double team came late, but maybe helped alter the shot.
Man, that became a throw. Like he didn't have, his hand under the ball, snapping his wrist. That was just hope to get it up there because he got confused by the double.
Shot was generous.
Whoa, no, that's a hook.
And that, I don't know what that was.
That came off, well, it would be a slice to a right-hander.
Okay.
That came off and took a hard right.
No.
We were right on line with that bad boy. I don't know if you can see it, but he shoots it. It just to the right.
I wouldn't know. I never slice.
Well, maybe he'll hook. If you cut the Achilles.
He'll quit the game.
He'll quit the game.
Webster. Let's see if Chimunga gets a second chance at it. He wasn't really looking to shoot. McVeigh, who likes to shoot from the outside.
And he got that off too quick. Like, he just released it. He made up his mind. He was releasing. Regardless. And sometimes that's bad business.
Terrence Samuel with the ball. Transfer from UConn. Watkins almost lost it. He tried to hit Samuel, went right back to Watkins.
Hey, that was nice by Samuel. What he did was he didn't stand. He just continued on, found himself under the bucket, and had presence of mind. Nice play by a kid who hasn't played a whole lot lately, Terrence Samuels. He's been benched.
Chimunga tried to save it in and saved it right to Penn State. Reeves in the open court, switched to the right hand with a foul.
Man, Reeves is a scorer.
He scores, and he'll have a chance for another point when we come back. Pat Chambers has been taking some heat. I think my partner disagrees. I'm going to ask him when we come back.
Ask me. He'll quit the game.
(21-13) to 13 seed Penn State out to the early lead over Nebraska. Time to go beyond the bucket with my partner Dan Dakich. And Dan, look, there has been some criticism of the Penn State program with their head coach Patrick Chambers, and I don't think you agree with a lot of that.
Well, I understand that you're going to get criticized when you lose. I mean, let's face it, anybody that loses in major college basketball, you're going to take criticism. But I think Pat Chambers has to be the coach at Penn State. When you look at where Penn State is right now, it's the first time that I can remember they have a foundation of guys that are their own. Here's what I mean by that. When you're in the Big Ten at Indiana, you've got to recruit Indiana. At Michigan, you've got to get Michigan kids. Same with Michigan State, Purdue, in Indiana. Illinois, you've got to get the best players. Pat Chambers has gone out and gotten the best players from Philadelphia in his own state, a spot that Penn State has begged people to come play basketball from. He's done it. He's opened the door. He has a very young team that's going to, if they are smart and keep him here in the foreseeable future, they will all grow together. You don't want to lose Coach Chambers, lose some of these young kids like Carr, like Watkins, and next thing you know, you're starting over. You just can't do it. So good for the AD coming out and saying Pat Chambers will be the coach next year, but I think they ought to come out and say Pat Chambers is going to be the coach for as long as he wants. Not necessarily as long as he wants, but just for a long time.
Well, Penn State fan Sandy Barber did come out and say that. Watkins with the block shot, and then Morrow was lying on the baseline out of bounds. So Penn State will get the ball back. And Sandy Barber gave that vote of support for Patrick Chambers, saying he's going to be back. She did the same for the football coach, James Franklin, when things were not going well this fall, and things from that point forward went really well.
Well, it takes a lot of pressure off. You know, today, Gene Smith at Ohio State came out for Thad Matta. You know, there's some interesting coaching moves here. You know, Illinois.
That one doesn't make sense to me, the Ohio State
No,
one.
not at all.
For Thad Matta to be under pressure, come on.
Like Thad Matta, let's put it this way. Remember Rob Ryan saying he'd be out of coaching for 10 minutes? I don't think he's getting back in, Rob Ryan, now anyway. But Thad Matta literally would be out for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Watkins commits the personal. Anyway, it has become a topic of discussion. This conference, and you reference it there with Illinois, everything that's swirling around. Nebraska on the other side of this game, certainly a lot of pressure building on Tim Miles. It has become a conference of coaching intrigue.
Well, you know, I think the same thing about Tom Crean that I said about Matta. Like, you win the league outright 2 of the last 4 years, and in the Big Ten, winning this league is massive to these schools, and that's an unbelievable accomplishment to win it outright 2 of the last 4 years. So, you know, I think the fact that Indiana fans are on Tom Crean is misguided as well.
Uriah Horn made 1 of 2 free throws. That may be the most high profile of those situations in the league right now.
Yeah, and you know, the AD hasn't come out and said anything, and that's, everybody has a different modus operandi for that.
Yeah, we mixed in some Latin in the first half.
Well, we get a lot done here. We cover a lot of bases.
Carr to Stevens out of bounds and off of Nebraska. The Penn State players were headed in the other direction, but they get to keep the ball.
Well, they got fooled.
Shot clock at 13.
Like, Penn State has played everybody tough, and all right, next year they need to win these games. But you can't break up with what they have, including that kid right there who is going to be an absolute star because he's tough on tough.
Man, we saw him at the Palestra against Michigan State make some plays that
he did not back down for Michigan State.
Most players cannot make.
Right.
To the basket, Taylor lays it in.
Well, Taylor's a good-looking athlete and a strong-built kid, and he just exploded into them. He's another one of those guys like Jaquan Lyle at Ohio State. You cannot let him play in the middle of the floor. You let him play in the middle of the floor, his athletic ability takes over.
Carr down the lane, dishes to Watkins with a foul.
Man, that was sweet by Carr. Here's what Carr did. Drove the lane, he jumped to score, and then you can always pass it off. But he's jumping here. He thinks he's got a bucket. He's jumping to score. Guy comes, he finishes, and then Watkins, with his chin on the rim and a left hand, that's great basketball.
Carr to Watkins, we could be saying that a lot over the next few years.
Oh, there's no question. Those are 2 of the young stars, not only in the Big Ten, but I'm telling you, across the country. This time next year, everybody will know Watkins and Carr.
Both had arguments for being on that first team Big Ten freshman team. Watson with a nifty crossover, but then couldn't finish. Carr was the guy who made it. It was a loaded year for freshmen in the Big Ten.
You know, Kevin Herter not making it. You can make the case for him. You can make the case for Cowan. You can make the case for Justin Jackson. You can make the case for a lot of guys.
Yeah. And none of those guys were on that freshman team.
That made you mad.
And Mark Turgeon wasn't real happy. To me, the future of the Big Ten is very bright. With as hard as it was to pick that 5-man freshman team, that speaks well about the future of this league. How about that play?
It's a great play right there by Ed Morrow.
Ed saved it inbounds.
He went with a wraparound. Watch this. He goes with a wraparound here and wraps it around right off Watkins.
We are never, ever going to do this promo. Ever. Until now. Champ Week tonight on ESPN2. Second round coverage of the ACC tournament at 7. Wake Forest, Virginia Tech. That's a big one for Wake. And maybe for Tech too. Then Pitt and Virginia quarterfinal action at noon tomorrow on ESPN. How about that quarterfinal matchup? Miami and Carolina on Watch ESPN. there.
Well, Carolina showed real toughness against Duke because Duke wasn't backing down. Carolina went ahead and won that game, which is not, I don't care, home or away. That was a knockdown drag out. Carolina showed great toughness.
Shot clock at 4. Watson pulls up. Good.
I love that kid. I do. You know what? Webster's going to be gone. You're going to have Taylor. You're going to have Watson. You're going to be fine.
Chicago kid who was productive last year, built upon that this year, had some huge games. 27 against UCLA. 34 against Iowa.
Watson played for a great high school coach in Gene Pingatore at St. Joseph's of Westchester, Illinois. Isaiah Thomas, Darryl Thomas from Indiana played. So many guys have come through that place, and Coach Ping always one of the great people in basketball. Should be in the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame has been in the news here of late. College Basketball Hall of Fame, the Basketball Hall of Fame. Penn State ball up 27-18. A whistle. And that's a foul against the Nittany Lions.
Now Julian Moore on the baseline, he just kind of slid over. They were running a little baseline runner action. Give him a little bit of business right there. You extend that elbow, it is a foul, and let's go play the other way.
Yep. You might be wondering, what's at stake in this game? The winner gets Michigan State, the number 5 seed. The follow by Jacobson somehow doesn't go. That one clanged right off of Penn State. The face of Isaiah Washington and out of bounds. So this is the first game of this 2017 Big Ten tournament. The winner tomorrow, 2:25 Eastern, roughly, against the 5 seed. Michigan, Illinois, that portion of the bracket tomorrow.
You know, everybody here thinks they have a shot to win this tournament. And they just might. Like, you sit and you go, all right, who's going to tournament? Well, Minnesota's hot. Nobody's playing better than Michigan. I mean, Michigan is one overtime game at Minnesota and one throw over the top, full court loss to Northwestern from winning their last 8. You know, I mean, everybody thinks they got a shot here.
You and I saw Indiana. I mean, Indiana is going to be the 10 seed here, and the way they played in their regular season finale, offensive firepower.
I was talking to the assistants from Penn State, and they're like, I'm telling you, we're going on a run.
Horn hits the 3.
Better guard him if you're going to go on a run.
Good advice from Dan Dakich. 6-point game.
Feels like Penn State's up about 10 or 12 minimum here, but you know what? Nebraska hanging around.
I mean, neither of these teams have been great three-point shooting teams. When those shots do go down, things open up. Garner for 3, too strong, and then Moore pushed off. Timeout from D.C. Nittany Lions lead 27-21. .21, Shep Garner and Penn State with a 6-point lead. 7:01 still to go in this first half. And yes, his cousin is rapper, actor, I mean, maybe more rapper than actor, Flavor Flav, who is here in
I'll
Washington,
give you.
and he's got the clock.
He does have the clock. It's the first thing I look for. I'll give you $50. You can tell me Flavor Flav's real name.
I don't have it for you.
William Jonathan Drayton Jr.
Now you just knew that.
No, I Googled it.
Oh. See, I mean,
don't make me sing some Flavor Flav.
well, Public Enemy's got lots of singable songs. We could figure out a way to work that in.
I have Public Enemy on my playlist.
You did Thriller the other night. That was about a week ago, right?
Yep.
You did. Who'd you do earlier in the year?
Biggie, can't you see? Hypnotize.
Yeah. Flavor Flav was embarrassed by that one.
Was that Public Enemy?
Well, no, but it just wasn't quite up to his standard.
Really?
Webster at the line. 17 fouls against Penn State, and Webster earns the second free throw.
I think he's really good. I think Webster is going to have a monster year. No, I have Naughty by Nature. I'm sorry. I don't have Public Enemy.
You have no Public Enemy?
No, but I'm willing.
Oh.
Every morning, true story. I have this little Google thing where you say, hey, Google, and you say turn on something. It's always Run DMC or NWA. True story.
I think you
got to get your day going.
Chuck D, great sports fan.
Oh, huge. Who's Chuck D?
He was the sort of front man for Public Enemy with Flavor Flav. The two of them were Public Enemy. Yeah, that might be the greatest rap group of all time.
You got to get up really early in the morning to beat the Sugar Hill Gang.
We've gone off the rails slightly.
We'll get back.
Sort of veer back on here. It's game 1 of the Big Ten tournament. Watkins blocks him, and then the ball just sitting there.
Nobody went to get it.
Chimanga did, and he forces the tie-up. The arrow does favor Penn State. Yeah, you got to be careful here.
All right.
And Peyton Banks may have been tired of being at the bottom.
Chimanga's a big dude, and a big angry dude right there. He was not too happy with Peyton Banks pushing off of him. That's a tough kid. He has done a really good job of making himself into a player. Right there is a kid who's a testament to hard work and just getting in the gym.
Well, the officials want to take a look at that scrum.
It was right in front of us. I don't, as dumb as this sounds, I don't care what this video says. There was nothing there. Like, you can make something up right now with a little bit of.
Yeah, no, that's going to be nothing.
There's nothing there.
I'm with you. Now, if the video had said, where I might differ from you is if the video had showed something.
Well,
maybe.
We were sitting right here is what I'm saying. We were right in front. We had a perfect angle to it, so you could make something out of it, I suppose, right there with the right arm, but there's nothing.
No. And the officials do a good job and say, play on. I'm with you, though. Nebraska early on was looking like this game may go sort of like Senior Day did for them. Not well.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job of hanging in there.
Well, they've gotten in a stance, and they've adjusted what they're doing on the ball screen. They're kind of downing the ball screen, meaning keeping it on the side, not letting the ball get into the middle. Like, see right there? All right, now they squared up because there was no ball screen.
Turnover, Penn State. Watson to Webster. Tip in goes.
Hey, that kid Jacobson has played really hard. He a little bad luck on an earlier tip, but he came sprinting down the floor, beat everybody from Penn State, and was rewarded with a tip in.
So the Cornhuskers on a run within 2. Tony Carr. Garner wide open 3. Good.
See, that time they downed it, but Carr went and beat the big man to the left. He wanted to go in the middle. He beat him to the left, and that brought it shrunk the entire defense, which freed the extra pass for Gardner's 3.
First basket in the first half for Shep Garner. Chimanga one-on-one with Watkins, who already has 3 blocks.
Oh, man.
Chimanga just lost him.
Oh, that's giving him the business right there.
Pretty good move for a kid who hadn't played a lot of hoops.
That's what I'm saying. He's been in the gym. He listens. You know what he does? His head goes up and down. Like, yes, yeah. Not side to side questioning. He doesn't question anything. He just works.
Reeves faked the 3. Carr found Reeves. In and out.
Well, I tell you what, Tim Miles did not want the overhelp, leaving Reeves alone. He was up jumping as soon as Reeves got the basketball.
Webster got it. Tie game.
He's played great. Webster has played really well. He got beat early, but he's gotten in a stance. He's played great on offense. Without being selfish, he scored points.
Well, it took him a while to get going, but he's in double figures now. He's got 10.
Yeah, he's the term, he's let the game come to him. He really has, and he's done it pretty much on the defensive end, being pretty active.
Carr with a little bit of contact. Here comes Nebraska. A chance to take the lead, and they don't. There was contact, no whistle, out of bounds, off of the Cornhuskers.
Well, that's the first day of the Big Ten tournament. I'm telling you, this is going to be the most exciting tournament in the country. Look at Chimanga here. Hup. Man, that's giving a guy the business and finishing with your left, and this kid has been terrific. Ty Webster, the senior, got crushed on senior night, playing well, really well. Big Ten.
Partial, but his Hawkeyes, he'll be watching Iowa, Indiana tomorrow. You and I will have that one.
Let me tell you something. His dad, man, he watches. That's what he told me. I don't know. He said Whole family. They wear the mascot hat and watch games. True story.
Not Hawkeye Elvis, though. That's not his dad.
No, it's not his dad.
Okay.
Like, he puts one of those things on, but it's a Hawkeye. Chris does in studio. It's unbelievable.
Well, tomorrow maybe we'll get a little taste of that.
Or maybe he doesn't. I'm lying. One of the two. I'm not sure yet.
Tie game. Final 3+ minutes of the first half. Lamar Stevens, who got 2 quick fouls, cut off, gets it back, and scores.
Yeah, really good by Stevens and Jacobson. Jacobson was guarding, wouldn't let Stevens move. He kicked it, and Samuels with a nice drive and dish back to Stevens.
Nebraska has not led at any point in the first half. Horn, good shot fake, and then a charge. Offensive foul. Molly McGrath was listening in that last time out to the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, that's right. Tim Miles telling his players, keep this run going. He's harping on defensive rebounding, saying that has started this whole turnaround, and their defensive focus is on the guards, especially guys like Tony Carr.
Hey, Molly saw a $35,000 purse last night.
Molly, you did?
I misspoke, and I'll never live it down.
No, you can't make a mistake around us. Sorry.
Never.
It's not allowed.
It was a Prada. We were Googling Prada.
When we make a mistake, then you can do it. Garner, no. Good offensive rebound.
Hey, Garner shot into tough luck. He's had a couple go in and out, but what an effort by Banks splitting the defense. Webster didn't block out. Banks took advantage.
Stevens posting up down low.
This is a bad matchup. He's not going to get that. Well, he made it, but that's a tough shot. Jacobson's playing pretty good defense. Give Stevens credit there. He made it over an outstretched hand of a much bigger opponent.
Watson with the crossover. Got himself to that free throw area. Just missed the shot. And Patrick Chambers, he wants the Nittany Lions to run.
Yeah, he does, because he's got a good spread right here for shooters, except for Samuels.
Banks.
Bad shot.
Yeah, you could tell that was
no lift, flat.
No chance.
None.
Webster to Morrow, blocked by Watkins. I think that's number 4 in the first half for Mike Watkins. He almost got number 5. And then a foul against Morrow over the back.
Well, by being there, and even though he didn't get number 5, you might as well give him a block there, because Watson had a layup or a little floater, and Watkins made it far more difficult. We should be Watkins' agent, because we love that kid.
Nobody has done more for Mike Watkins than you and I have this year.
But he's done a little bit for himself. He sat out as a walk-on, and again, just worked like crazy. You'd never see him doing anything but fighting and battling and competing. He's terrific.
I just caught him looking over at you. I think he was thinking,
knew.
Yeah, thanks for saying a few nice things about me. No freshman in the country has more blocked shots.
And, you know, he just keeps getting better and better and better. He's got 8 points. He's got 4 blocks. He's jammed up the middle. When he's in, they're a different team.
He's only 6'9", and that's not to say he doesn't have size, but he's got that wingspan, and he just has a knack.
Dave, there's 2 things that people underestimate in terms of basketball skill. Playing in traffic. Playing in the middle is really tough, and it's a skill. And just because you're tall doesn't mean you block shots. Blocking shots is timing. It's being in the right position. It is. You mentioned the word knack. That's exactly right. It's not just, hey, I'm big, I'm going to block shots.
Webster down the lane. Watkins got a piece of that one. And it's out of bounds off of Nebraska.
You know what he does also? He sees the ball. That's not the easiest thing to do. He keeps his head on a swivel. Look at it. He's seeing the ball even though he's guarding the post. Here he comes and reacts. And with tremendous timing, puts himself in the right position at full extension. The kid is skilled at that part of basketball.
Okay, so he got a piece of the hand too. But
a little bit. Hand's part of the ball if you're a good shot blocker.
Yeah, that should count as number 5 to me. Carr down low. Reverse is no good. And then the soft hands of Watkins to tip it in.
You know, a little back cut. Head wasn't turned. Didn't see ball. And man on the wing for Nebraska broke the defense down.
So it was tied at 30. Now an 8-0 run. And a rebound for Tony Carr. Good answer from Penn State.
I think Carr's playing too slow. I think Carr, when he's come in, and I know it's under a minute and you're going to use a little clock here, but his game has been too slow here today.
Carr shoots a rare three. Doesn't take a lot of those. Doesn't make many of them either.
Terrible possession. He brought it up too slow with no zip. And when you don't bring it up with any zip, your team gets into malaise in half court. You end up with a bad shot.
We'll be back right after this. Big Mike Watkins, the redshirt freshman from Philadelphia, leading the way for Penn State. They've got an 8-point lead.
Well, the PR firm Fleming and Dockage is working overtime, but why not? Nobody finds him. Nobody puts a button. Look at his eyes right here. Look at his eyes. He plays with his head up. He plays with an awareness, and you see a little bit of timing right there for the tip. Mike Watkins, like Caleb Swanigan, is not only a big kid, not only a willing kid to play in a block, but has great basketball instincts. You don't see a lot of kids that have that kind of skill, athletic ability, and instincts.
And with his rebounding in this first half, he has now set a new all-time freshman mark in the history of Penn State hoops for rebounds in a season. There's close to a 10-second difference between game clock and shot clock.
Good back cut.
Webster didn't shoot it, though. To the corner for three. Yes.
McVay standing right there in the corner. Webster just made a great back cut, then a fantastic decision. You mentioned earlier that kid right there, McVay, likes to shoot threes, and he got a good look. That was a huge shot.
He had 15 against Penn State. Nebraska beat the Nittany Lions in their only meeting in the regular season. Now Patrick Chambers will take a timeout, and we will step aside for 30. Be back right after this. "11 seconds to go in the first half of game number 1. We're getting the Big Ten tournament here in Washington, D.C. for the first time. Kicked off here this afternoon from the Verizon Center. Penn State not too far from Happy Valley State College to here in the nation's capital. 11 seconds to go. They've got the ball up 5, looking for the final shot of the half.
You got to go. Break down the defense. Extra pass. Oh.
Watkins down low. Catches. Can the shot get off? It did, but it didn't go, and that's how the first half comes to an end.
Well, pretty good first half by Penn State. Actually, not a bad first half by Nebraska, hanging around because it did not start well, but Mike Watkins has been a real difference.
Yeah, the shot blocker freshman extraordinaire, his head coach, Pat Chambers, with Molly McGrath.
Thank you, Coach. Mike Watkins with some big plays. How is he energizing your team?
He's playing great defense. He's protecting the rim for us so they can't get downhill. They want to get downhill. He's blocked a ton of shots. He's altered a ton of shots. But we need to keep doing that. We need the same energy. We hit a little bit of a low there.
Yeah, Nebraska went on a run. How'd you take back some of that control?
We just got to respond. You know, all year long we've been right there, right there. Then sometimes we get deflated and we don't respond. We responded today.
All right, thank you, Coach. Dave.
All right, thank you, Molly. 38-33. That's the lead for Penn State. It's halftime from... It is Champ Week on ESPN and the Big Ten tournament in Washington, D.C. for the first time. Great day to be out along the Tidal Basin at the start of the second half. Penn State with a 5-point lead over Nebraska. The 13 and 12 seed getting the whole tournament started. The winner of this game plays Michigan State tomorrow. That game follows Michigan and Illinois. And in case you're joining us late, a huge story, and we are just so relieved to say that everybody's okay. That is the team playing for the Wolverines, University of Michigan. An accident as they tried to take off. Nobody was hurt, at least not seriously. Dave Fleming, Dan Dockich, and Dan, of course, your son is on that team. But aside from that, Tom Wyrot, who's the SID for Michigan, gave us a little updated info about Michigan's attempts to get here. They play at noon tomorrow.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with my son, and he didn't know, but Tom Wyrot has said it looks like Michigan's going to try to come get here tomorrow to leave in the morning. They have a lot of things apparently they have to do, which is witness to the FCC, talk about the plane crash, make sure that that part of it is covered. And there's a lot of people on that plane. You know, there was band members, there was dance teams, there were wives, families of coaches, and of course, you know, the players and all the staff. So all that said, I cannot even begin to tell you how thankful I am that the biggest problem we have is Michigan getting here, because it went through the runway, through a chain link fence, through a barbed wire fence, and ended up, as you saw, in the ditch. And every time I see those pictures, I'm not going to lie, I get chills. And it's just one of those deals where, hey, get here when you get here, but thank goodness everybody's safe.
Yeah. And that is absolutely the biggest part of that story, which is now looming over this entire tournament. Let's welcome in Molly McGrath. Molly.
Well, at the half, Nebraska's head coach Tim Miles said that they lost some momentum after their run in the first half because they took Jordy Shimanga out. He said the next group of guys didn't perform as well, and he also wants them to do a better job guarding Mike Watkins. Obviously, he wants them to keep attacking him. He said he got in Glenn Watson's head a little bit with those blocks.
Well, what he did, and it's absolutely right. Molly is always right on it. But here's the deal. I think the ball's got to go inside. I like that they went right now inside to Jacobson. Go inside to Morrow. Anybody, just go in there. Figure it out later.
Well, for the Cornhuskers, they were down 11 and pretty quickly in this game. So they did well to not just hang around, but then fight back.
Well, they were a threat to get blown out based on body language and how the other team came out against them. I mean, there's no question about that. But they hung in there, as you said, and now you got a chance to make this a one-possession game.
Watson. We'll see if he's a reluctant shooter. He short-armed that one, a whistle and a foul on Nebraska. Now, Watkins was a force defensively, but on the offensive end, Penn State also dominated in the paint.
Well, they drove the ball, and there were numerous times where drive, drop it off, dunk, drive, drop it off, and lay in. So Penn State, only a few times did they settle for a bad jump shot.
Stevens along the baseline. Came back middle, no good, and then Watkins goes over the back.
You know what? Morrow did a good job the previous possession of getting Watkins, who avoided a foul, and then he did a better job on this possession staying in front of Watkins. This time Watkins did foul.
So his second personal. The games where he's been in foul trouble, the Nittany Lions have struggled.
And he does not need to do that. Like, it's one thing to be aggressive on a rebound, but it's another thing to just reach over kind of lazily.
Well, Jacobson, they obviously like that matchup, but then when Watkins helps out, it's not quite as good.
Well, pretty good. He turned into Watkins. Pretty good defense by Banks. Banks made him turn that way, or excuse me, Stevens did. And again, what great timing by Watkins.
That is his 6th block shot.
You have to figure out, if you are Nebraska, if you can beat Watkins with a shot fake. There are some guys you can beat with a shot fake. Just show the ball and he'll jump. Watkins might be ready for that.
Taylor pulls up for 3. Got it.
Great looking shooter.
1-point game.
Great looking shooter, Taylor. Body language a lot different. Start of the game, it was all Nebraska. This half, start of the game, all Penn State. This half, all Nebraska. Look at the defense.
Carr cut off by Webster, then used a little hesitation move, got fouled before the shot. And the two of them are talking a little bit. The senior with a smile on his face, the freshman no smile for Tony Carr.
Tony Carr needs to get more involved in this game. We said at the end of the half he's been a little bit slow in his movement. He's been slow in getting Penn State into their offense, and he is not nearly as involved as he should be.
I mean, early on, he made his first 3 shots. He made a couple nice passes, and the second part of that first half, he just kind of disappeared.
Right.
Watkins down low. Morrow there with the defense. Watkins elevated and scores.
Boy, that was nice by Morrow. Again, he made Watkins turn away from his strength, but soft touch, let it bounce around on the rim, got it to go.
Webster almost had it taken away by Reeves. The pass over the top. That went off of Morrow's leg.
Yeah, that was really good by Reeves. Reeves had a switch on to Morrow, got his hands involved.
And Josh Reeves, who led the Big Ten in steals this year, was very unhappy. He was not on the 5-man all-defensive team in the Big Ten. He thought he should have been.
He should have been.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive player of the year Lynch shouldn't have been. I mean, I hate to take anything away from his shot blocker, been in foul trouble, but Dakota Mathias, in my opinion, guarded more people, more spots, had to do more defensively. But Reeves, no question, should have been on that list.
Hard to argue with Lynch to be on the team.
Yeah. I hate to say that a guy shouldn't have been. That's a bad thing for me to say. He got what he deserved. Good for him.
Hard to argue with Happ, who had a great year defensively, does a lot of different things, and Mathias, but it just feels like Reeves, I mean, he made an impact defensively.
You know, with Mathias, you have to guard so many different guys. You know, really, who do you have to guard? Who's a tough matchup every single game in the post? And really, Swanigan, Happ, but not every team has somebody you really got a key for. And that's kind of my point with it.
3-point game. That was a turnover by the Nittany Lions.
That was just sloppy. That was un-first half like for the Nittany Lions.
Webster for the tie. Too strong. Watkins out there trying to chase down the rebound, but Chimunga got it.
Chimunga is a good. I'd go to him on the block. Last time they went to him on the block, he gave the business to Watkins. They haven't gone back there. They need to.
I thought Chimunga almost shoved Reeves into the dribbler, but Reeves got called for the personal.
Well, if you bounce into Chimunga, he's going to bounce you into somebody else.
Maybe it was a little pinball. Glenn Watson. Nebraska needs more from him. Reeves with one of those steals.
Really good. Fundamentally sound. Had the proper hand in the passing lane.
Garner threw it to almost to me.
That was really good transition defense, though, by Nebraska. They were in an uneven situation and got out of it with the ball having to go back to half court.
Carr weaving his way through traffic. Kind of threw one up. I think he was torn between passing it and shooting it.
Well, he had a chance to lob it up to Watkins.
Should have.
Yeah. He's taking it a little too personal against Webster. He's got to play his own game at a faster pace, Carr.
Taylor. Shot clock winding down, just flung one up there. A foul against Nebraska. Sends us to a timeout. Nittany Lions clinging to a 3-point lead. The first game of the whole tournament. Nebraska, Penn State, Ohio State, Rutgers later tonight. Dan, you and I will have the night session tomorrow. Northwestern, in a lot of ways, the biggest story of the year in the Big Ten, and then Iowa, Indiana. That has the potential to be one of the great Thursday matchups in the history of the Big Ten tournament.
Well, I think it's going to be a great. Look, this tournament, I've said all year, name me the second worst team. You know, and it fluctuated. You know, I guess we're going to find out whoever loses this game. But, you know, really, it's been that kind of league where everybody has had great wins. You know, Nebraska, 3 in a row. Indiana at Maryland. Are you kidding me?
Out of bounds off of Penn State. We saw the shot block on the Nebraska end. We've seen more of those on this end of the floor with that guy, Mike Watkins, who has 6 blocks. The tournament record is just one away. Jeff Newton.
Yeah, Jeff Newton, 2002, along with Tommy Coverdale, along with Dane Fife, Michigan State assistant. George Leach took Indiana. Jared Jeffries took Indiana to a championship game against Maryland. Juan Dixon et al. Got him.
Jared Jeffries, yeah, don't leave him out. He was a pretty big part.
He
of that
was
team.
Maybe as talented a kid as there was in the country that year at 6'9".
He was tremendous.
Yeah, Bloomington North High School. I remember when he was in 7th grade. His coach called me as assistant Indiana and said, "You've got to get on this kid." I go, "Why? He's in 7th grade." He goes, "I know." And he was right.
He's learning long division, but you gotta start recruiting him.
Learning his gazindas.
Shep Garner. I may be off on the academic timeline there. Garner's pass deflected. Garner's been sloppy with the ball. Here's Horn, open 3, short.
Boy, that looked dead on. I heard you getting ready to say got it.
I was ready.
Yeah.
I thought it was going down. Good hustle by Nebraska. Chimunga all over the place.
I made a mistake. It's not the FCC. It's the FAA you talk to in times of playing. I've had the FCC on me so many times because of my radio show.
Kind of burned into your brain a little bit.
Just in there.
Yeah. Well, we're in the town of the FCC, the FAA, the FDA.
Wow.
Don't ask me to keep FBI. There's another F.
I'm trying.
Many of them. Just walk around town.
I did today. 4-mile walk. Took in the National Art Gallery. Took in the Smithsonian by myself.
Such a man of culture.
Oh, he was awesome. Saw some Van Gogh, Renoir.
Did you have a favorite? Watkins controlled and scored.
Where's the help? Like, Watkins has been able to, after just setting a simple ball screen, sashay down the lane with nobody putting a body on it.
14 points on 7 of 9 shooting, plus the blocks. That time, finally, Watson got one to go.
Yeah, Watson is a load, and he looks to me like he wants to have a big 14 minutes here.
3-point game. We got some drama in the first game of the tournament. Carr, who's just gone quiet for Penn State. First team freshman in this league, in a league that's stacked with freshmen.
Well, you're going to see right here. Watch Mike Watkins. He's going to hand it off. Now, look at this. Look at this right here. This is the lane, people. Nobody is in the lane. Rule of thumb, you're 2 passes away. You should be right here. They're not. It's a layup. Look at this. He can fumble it, bumble it, stumble it, and still dunk it.
So that will not go on the defensive highlight reel for Nebraska for 2017. Shot clock at 25. Plenty of time for Penn State. Carr bounces it, and it was stripped away.
That was a really nice play by Webster coming back into the play.
Horn on the attack, and that one pinned against the backboard. Watkins hustled back to finally get the rebound.
Got thrown up ahead.
Yeah, they got the advantage, and they didn't see it. Stevens finally over to Banks, who dribbled into a 3. No.
I'm telling you, modern college basketball make old coaches go crazy. That was a layup.
Layup, just shoot it.
Yeah, and you throw it ahead, and you got a layup instead. You end up with a 3.
Chamunga, that's you don't want to be in that position.
He cannot go to his right shoulder. He's got to fake to his right shoulder, come back, step through to his left. That's a little too much to ask from the kid with help coming. I'm telling you, used to be you run wide, you get to the free throw lane, you cut to the rim in transition. Now you run wide, you stay wider. You get behind the 3-point line, and 2 points in that situation, in this situation, is great. Makes it a 2-possession game. Doesn't have to be a 3.
Nobody's shooting the ball well since halftime. Garner, another pass that was almost a throwaway.
That was off the shin. That was a Buster Posey kick save.
Little shin burger. Stevens, shot clock at 6. Spin move. What a nice move.
That was really nice. Stevens had gone to his left shoulder a couple times, and Jacobson is guarding. Like, he's really guarding well, but that kid is going to be a 18 to 20 point a game scorer in this league. He just a scorer. He went to his right shoulder over an outstretched arm. Man.
I'll give you one. If he develops a 3-point shot, because he's not a 3-point shooter, look out.
Yeah, no doubt. Could be an NBA guy if he could really shoot it, because he's going to have a monster body. He's a willing kid.
Watson for 3. And we'll see. Maybe a fast break opportunity. No. Garner in transition. You count that as a fast break? Sure.
I don't mind that shot. That was not an look at Flavor Flav liking his cousin. Naughty by nature.
Wait, naughty by nature?
That's not it?
No.
Oh, Public Enemy.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Dang it.
We got a lot of work to do. Chamunga.
Oh, wow.
Now that was naughty.
By nature. By Chamunga.
Wow. Goodness.
That's left-handed. That was an explosion, Dave.
In the face of Julian Moore. Watkins off the floor. Take advantage.
Boy, that's no kidding. That's no kidding, because Watkins can play both. He can play the ball screen and get back and help.
Garner going to shoot it again and hit again. Yeah, there he is. The clock is swaying back and forth. He's on the move.
Hey, what's not to like about Flavor Flav? the cousin of that guy right there, Shep Gardner. You see him right there. Got a big old clock on his wrist, a clock around his neck. Why not? You know, you got to impress the stars, and even if they're your cousins, you got to come out and play. In the second half, Shep Gardner has certainly done that. Flavor Flav in the house, everybody.
Won over Nebraska, and the big news coming out of the Big Ten, Michigan's team plane did get into an accident earlier today on their way to Washington, D.C. Fortunately, no one was injured. The team is trying to find alternate travel plans, but I spoke with Brett McWethy, the director of communication for the Big Ten. It took a while to find him because there were a lot of discussions going on behind the scenes. He said they haven't dealt with something of this magnitude before. There's no precedent for this, so they're waiting on Michigan's official travel plans. He has not heard word of when they'll fly in tomorrow, but they will make a decision once they know more information. Dave, Dan?
All right, thank you, Molly. Lots of information there. They are scheduled to play the first game at noon tomorrow, and they're not here, and we don't know when they're going to get here. That's a foul against Nebraska. Michigan matching up with Illinois. Then Michigan coming in as arguably the hottest team in the Big Ten. Maybe Minnesota and Michigan, those two. The winner of this game plays Michigan State on that portion of the bracket tomorrow, and we'll see. I mean, it seems like maybe the possibility of shuffling the game times around or the matchups if they have to. We don't know. We're still not even sure if they can figure out a way to get here tonight, which would be ideal. You can imagine all the stuff that they're dealing with, not just with the paperwork and the logistics of what happened, making sure everybody's okay, but then trying to figure out, well, I mean, there's still weather in the area. How do they get here?
Well, speaking as the father of a son who was on that plane, I honestly don't care.
Don't care.
I don't. I'm not going to lie. I've never been a coach for 20-some years, Dave, and I've never had a situation where you fly in the day up for a noon game. You know, we used to fly in sometimes for a night game, you know, come the day of. But I've never had a situation like that, and pretty nice move right there by Taylor. But you know, my perspective is I just thank the good Lord everybody's okay. That this could have been so much worse. And you know what? When I see my son tomorrow, I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to give him a big old hug and just be glad I get a chance to do that.
And I don't blame you.
Yeah.
And you know what? If they do have to come in the morning and come straight to the gym and throw the uniforms on and play, so
let's
be
go.
it.
Play hard.
So
but, you know, maybe they move the game. Maybe they flip the games. I don't know. But you know what? Again,
it is not important in the grand scheme.
Not to me right now. Will be, because you know you want a good game.
And those kids, including your son, on that team, I mean, they got big dreams about winning a Big Ten championship.
6 of 8 they've won, playing as well as anybody. Beat this Nebraska team by 36. Bad shot there. Tony Carr. He's going to have to figure it out.
Penn State still has the 7-point advantage. Good pass. Webster 3. And couldn't get the soft roll. That's out of bounds off of the Nittany Lions, though. NBA doubleheader for you tonight. We'll start at 8 Eastern. And it's the Pistons and the Indiana Pacers. Then at 10:30, everybody's just assuming the Cavs are going to be there. That could be a finals matchup. 10:30 Eastern, Celtics and Warriors. Both games on ESPN and streaming live on the app. And Josh Reeves is limping off the court. Not good news.
No, not good news at all, because he is a late game free throw shooter. He rolled his ankle, looks like.
Webster, who has not scored in the second half, dumps it down low. Morrow cut off by Watkins, who's just a mountain inside.
Yeah.
There's Webster's shot. That one no good. Watson and Webster both are struggling.
Yeah, and Watson has, I think, gotten really good looks. Tim Miles told Molly, he's 2 for 9 right now. But Tim Miles told Molly he thinks Watson's in his head, and you can kind of see it.
I mean, the two of them are a combined 5 for 21. That's not good enough for Nebraska. A lot of dribbling from Watson. There's Taylor. And that possession was destined to end with a miss.
It really was.
Carr all the way and missed it.
Now, he went hard, though. And if he can play at that pace, he's going to keep getting good looks.
Good hands by Banks to knock it out of bounds. Reeves is clearly still in pain. We'll see if we can catch what happened.
Well, let's take a look. Reeves is right here, and let's take a look at his. Yeah, right there.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch. Nebraska's just 4 of 17 shooting since halftime. And the shot clock is winding down again. McVeigh over the top. Morrow catches. And that is a jump ball. I think that counts as a block, doesn't it?
I think it does. It may just be a tie-up, but certainly in the shooting motion, I'd give it to him just so we could have a record.
There's only 1 second on the shot clock, by the way.
That's an elbow to forearm to hand to fingertip block.
Did they get it off?
No, they didn't.
The answer is no. Shot clock violation.
That was a quick clock right there.
That's what Tim Miles is saying. Come on. I mean, he just caught it and shot it. I think you should have a second to do that.
Oh, easy. Easy. They gave him the block, so there's 7 blocks for Mike Watkins. He'll get 8 before this is over. I don't blame Tim Miles right here for being a little hot about this.
Yeah.
Did you ever keep score? Did you ever keep the clock?
Yeah, maybe like when I was an 8th grader, something like that.
Horrible job.
Bad job.
Terrible job.
Don't volunteer for that job.
I had to literally shut up or I was going to get in a fight with 2 parents. And you know, there's your makeup right there.
Traveling.
It's tough in slow-mo. Oh, geez.
Yeah, it went to 0.
In slow-mo, that's fast.
Went to 0 really quickly. 7-point game. And still, Webster just can't buy one.
Great look. Great look. Went away from the screen. Got a great look.
He's missed 5 straight. Carr for 3. That high arcing shot. No good. And then who to go off of? Went right off of Morrow.
Well, that's pretty good by Banks. He knew he couldn't rebound it, so he didn't foul. He just caused the problem. You know, he just made it difficult because of his presence and his hands in there. Pretty smart not to foul.
Penn State from an awkward spot will inbound the ball. And they almost threw it away. Stevens, another travel.
Yeah, really good call. Stevens just got going too fast. That's one that you talked about earlier. When he becomes a 3-point shooter, he just lifts up and knocks that in.
Shoot it.
Yeah.
Well, Stevens, I think he made 8 threes all year. Just 8.
Made one earlier.
Coming into this game.
Yeah, look good doing it, though.
Yeah. Nebraska's got to start making some shots. I mean, in some ways, they're lucky to just be down 7.
Very. This has been a very sloppy second half.
Morrow, I thought he traveled. No call.
Absolutely traveled. The ball knows. Ball wasn't going to let that get it. The ball was not going to go in because the ball knew that he had traveled.
Penn State's offense, meanwhile, has sort of bogged down.
Awful.
Okay, that's one way to put it.
Other than the 2 threes when they got goal, it's pretty good.
Okay,
there.
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
You know what's good about it? They moved Watkins off the block just 2 steps, and he got a little bit of an angle on Morrow. And once he did that, Morrow doesn't have the size.
We had gone 3 minutes, Dan, without a shot going down on either side. Thank goodness that's over.
That's what I told you. Awful.
McVeigh. Taylor, 1 dribble into the jumper.
Yeah, I was looking, people from Nebraska making fun of me for saying that Taylor is a good-looking shooter because he hasn't shot a good percentage, but he is. You will see Taylor end up as a very good shooter. Has a good stroke, keeps his wrist, his elbow under the ball, releases it nice, ball has good spin.
Garner 3. In and out. He's had a few of those.
He has. He really has. He had a couple in the first half. He knocked 2 in the second half, but that one looked dead on, and we were going to get a picture of Flava Flav.
I bet you he was standing up already.
No, he was. That clock was swinging.
6.5 to go.
He's got to go, yeah.
Webster steps back, and he knew it. Man, is he off.
Yeah, and it's like he's getting good looks. That's not a terrible look for him. What they're doing is they're keeping him on the side. They're not letting him play into the middle of the floor, and he has missed all of those jump shots.
Timeout by Pat Chambers at Penn State. They lead Nebraska from Washington, D.C., which is this week the capital of the Big Ten Conference. 6:19 to go. The 12 seed trailing the 13 seed Penn State. And Ty Webster, I mean, the star, the leading scorer for Nebraska, clearly frustrated with the way this second half is going. And why not? He's got the goose egg. 0 for 6. He has not scored since halftime. And you can tell in the body language, I mean, this could be his final game. He's a senior.
Yeah, he started out really well. I mean, I know it only said 3 for 8, but he played well in the first half, really well. And, you know, guys get frustrated, particularly when you're a senior and you put so much pressure on yourself that, hey, man, we got to make a run here, and it's on me. And, you know, it's just not gone. He's had good looks, too, which is also very frustrating.
Well, Penn State ball out of the timeout. Nittany Lions have controlled this thing basically from the start. I mean, Nebraska has never led. They've tied a couple times. They have never led in this game. Shot clock at 10.
I think these next 2 possessions, one apiece, is huge because, truthfully, the Nittany Lions should be in total control of this. They're not.
Stevens has got to get rid of it. He did hit the rim, but here comes Nebraska.
Yeah, bucket here, and I'm telling you, the whole tenor of this game changes.
Watson against Watkins came up short, and that's the impact of the shot blocker.
Watson has had looks like that, and he's pulled a string on all of those around the basket, and he has not gotten them over the front of the rim.
So another timeout from D.C. Nebraska needs a comeback, down by 7. McGrath.
Well, Dave, Josh Reeds, you saw he was in visible pain with that right ankle injury. He limped off to the locker room for further evaluation. I'm waiting on official word, but all I've heard so far is that he is not getting x-rays for that right ankle injury. I'll update you as soon as I know more.
So can we call it a sprained ankle?
Yeah, you try to keep it moving. You move it in a circular manner. You tighten up your tape. Maybe if you don't have tape, you put tape on, and you get through it. And then all of a sudden, then it's ice and heat and ice and heat, and play them off.
I mean, you got to. It's Champ Week.
Right.
Continuing tonight on ESPN2, second-round coverage from the ACC. Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, all bubble teams should be watching that game. That's an important one.
Oh, I think Wake Forest has a chance. Their big kid is outstanding. I think Wake Forest can make a run here in this tournament. They're playing well, and Danny Manning has a real future.
And Pitt and Virginia also. And then you get the Miami-Carolina matchup looming tomorrow at noon on ESPN.
I like Carolina. And I know, you know, we have not always been that complimentary because they scored 23 points at a half, which you shouldn't do with 20 McDonald's All-Americans. But their toughness against Duke to get that win showed me that, hey, look, you count them out of your own peril.
You keep just counting that half. Didn't they get 43 for the whole game?
Yeah.
So they got 23
right.
for a half and 20 the other half.
I go to the first half. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm just saying.
I fell asleep.
I don't blame you. That was not the prettiest hoops.
Tell you one thing you don't fall asleep on and haven't all year is Big Ten hoops.
Carr, nice dish to Watkins.
Yeah, a little cross screen, and Carr came off of it. They were going to try to post him, but Webster lost a shoe. He threw a shoe and opened things up for Carr. The help came. He made the right pass. Watch this. You're going to see it off a little cross screen. They want him in the post, and there's the shoe went.
And the ball went right through the hoop.
That was a big play. You just got the feeling, you and I were talking off air, Dave, you just got the feeling that if Nebraska could see the ball going through the bucket, maybe get a 3 or 2, this game would have totally changed complexion. That was a huge bucket.
If people could only hear our off-air conversations.
It's much better than our on-air, where we discuss naughty by
Everybody
nature,
in America is going, yeah, no kidding. Low bar. Webster. He just needs one to go down, and it might not happen today for Ty Webster. Nebraska's missed their last 8. Meanwhile, Penn State has big number 24. Somehow the tip didn't go.
That's a great play. That's a great play. So many guys get in there, think they're entitled to no matter what, shoot it. Banks brought it out, reset with Carr.
Nine-point lead with the ball.
Same action, cross screen, mid-post, Carr. Play out of it.
Freshman going against the senior, and the freshman drew the foul.
You know, that's a lot of confidence. Think about that. He has not played well, Tony Carr. We've talked about it other than the first 5-7 minutes of the game. What confidence in Tony Carr's intelligence to get him the ball in that spot and let him be the playmaker from the mid-post. That tells you a lot about Tony Carr.
And good news for Penn State, Josh Reeves is coming back in the game. Now we'll see if he's close to 100%, how that ankle's feeling. In the bonus. Front end for the freshman from Philly, who needs to get better at that. He's not a terrible free throw shooter, but he get a chance to get there a lot in his career.
Sure, and if they're going to play him in the mid-post, he's going to get there late. Nice move.
That was a big bucket for Nebraska. They still have plenty of time. 4:20 to go, and Tim Miles calls the timeout. So we'll take a timeout with the Cornhuskers. 55-48, Penn State leads. Penn State leads, 4:20 to go. This is the opener of this 2017 Big Ten tournament. Dave Fleming, Dan Dakich. We've talked to Dan a lot about a lot of the teams that feel like they got a chance, whether it's the #1 seed Purdue, red hot Michigan, Minnesota, who's been such a great story in the Big Ten Northwestern. What about Michigan State, the team that will meet the winner of this one?
Hey, I have said all along, this is a dangerous team. Tom Izzo knows that if his team can just get out of their own way, don't turn it over at crucial times, don't commit offensive fouls on screens. Tom knows. He knows that this team has enough. And Cassius Winston, the point guard, is going to be huge in this. Controlling tempo, getting easy buckets. He and Tum Tum there.
Miles Bridges also feels like the kind of player who could take over this tournament. That's out of bounds. That's a turnover.
You're right, and he's playing terrific. Healthy, active, athletic. He is a guy that can go drop 40 and get 15 rebounds some night against a really good team.
You're going to have to win 4 in 4 days. You lean on a guy like that and say, go get him, big boy.
Yeah, no question about it.
Now, the flip side of that is if Penn State can advance, you and I saw the Nittany Lions kind of take it to Michigan State.
Yeah, but they're going to have to play a lot better than they have here in the second half.
They have not played. Nobody's played well in this second half. Watson step back two. Good.
Dangerous. Dangerous right now. You let him get hot. We've said it all half. Watson and Webster have gotten really good looks. They just haven't made anything.
There's some sort of clock issue.
Well, it's a Big Ten game. There must be a clock issue. Larry Scrotto right there.
Our alternate for this game, so you got to get it right. Now they have their own hand stopwatch where they roll back in real time. All right, yeah, so the clock was not running. Okay, so let's find out where the clock stopped accidentally. It looks like right there. Okay, now we are going to, this is our own stopwatch technology. So we need to add, well, it never started up again. So what, take 4 seconds off, something like that, roughly. That is high-tech stuff. Look, it's a close game. The teams, especially Nebraska, they want those extra seconds on the clock. Penn State would like to just see them go away. I go back to your point.
Like a second. That's all. Just a second. Let's go. Because, you know, let's be honest. It didn't start. They blew the whistle very quickly. It was at 53, I believe, when he took it out. It's 52 now. Let's go with 53 and call it a day.
Okay. So, yeah, 4 maybe. Did they blow it dead? Where? 1. Well, after all that, we took 2 seconds off the clock. 3:50 to go. You happy with that?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay. The bigger picture point, bigger picture, Penn State must feel like this game should be over. As poorly as Nebraska has shot the ball, Nebraska has never led, and yet the Nittany Lions offense has just ground to a halt.
No question. Now you're seeing a little zone, a little 1-3-1.
I like it.
I do too. Just got to cover the corners.
Carr down the lane. Stevens cut off. Here's Carr, and that one no good. Watkins high for the offensive rebound, and then he gets knocked to the ground.
You know, people are yelling about over the back. If I jump straight up and you're in front of me and I rebound over you, that is not over the back. That's just me being taller, longer, and better timing. That's it.
I think that's exactly what happened.
I do too. Watch here. All right, pretty good block out, but hey, there's no foul there by Watkins. Watkins gets backed into, and that's a good call.
Now here's the big man at the free throw line, front end of a 1-and-1, where every point is so big. Final 3:21. He missed it. Rebound Nebraska. No. Arrow favoring Penn State.
Boy, that is absolutely huge. Huge if you're Nebraska. You had a chance right there. You know what you have a chance to do? You got a chance to make a lot of freshmen get really nervous. And you're going to get loose if you make another shot. We said earlier, those are the games you lose. About 5 minutes ago, a 6-point game. Those are the games you lose. When you don't take a 6-point lead against a team that's playing bad and make it double digits and take it out.
Nebraska is shooting 31% for the game. All right, I think just making sure they had the arrow in the right direction, I think. So we got it sorted out. Penn State ball, new shot clock, and that's a big break for the Nittany Lions. Can this young Penn State team close? Foul from behind.
Hey, just a little UCLA cut. Again, Tony Carr just went down on the block. Webster led him, didn't do his work early, didn't fight him. I'm telling you, kid's struggling. Coach believes in him. They're getting him the ball. Carr on the block. The reason they're getting him the ball there is they feel like he can play as a point forward on the block and find others, as opposed to playing him as a point guard out on top. But you got to make free throws now.
He had 8 points early. He was 3 for his first 3. He makes the first of 2. Double bonus helps take a little pressure off that first free throw. They're in the double bonus from here to the end of the game.
I can't overstate, and you said it, what a big break that was for Nebraska, getting that loose ball. I guess you make your own breaks, but man, was that big.
Carr made 1 of 2. Cornhuskers rebound.
Well, he missed an earlier 1-and-1. And then Watkins just missed a 1-and-1. So they've had 5-6 chances and have gotten 1 point out of those 6 chances.
Very sloppy pass, almost a turnover.
And lucky that Morrow wasn't called for a foul.
Now a rough screen from Morrow. No whistle there. Shot clock down to 6. To the basket. Altered again by Watkins. Loose ball off of Penn State.
That is an awful possession. Now, Webster needs to get his team. He's not talking to anybody. He needs to get his team and get it organized, because that was as unorganized a possession as you are ever going to see.
He's the only senior on either team, and he has not scored in the second half. The 3rd leading scorer in the Big Ten this year. Taylor, he's maybe been their best player.
Told you, he's got a great-looking stroke. Hit one earlier. I said he had a great stroke. Nebraska fans made fun of me. Don't dump me.
That is an over-back violation and a Penn State turnover.
They've pressed 3 times. Nebraska has. 2 times they've turned it over. Great move. Great move. Everything has to cross. Let's see. I don't think the ball ever came across. You're supposed to have the ball and everything come across. I'm not sure that was the right call. Oh, back cut.
Trying to go back door. And a loose ball. Good hustle by Penn State. That will be a jump ball, though. And now we know the arrow favors Nebraska. Watson did well just to get his hands on it.
Watson did great to jump on Reeves. They gave him a timeout. I thought somebody had called timeout in that mix.
So now Tim Miles is going to be hot. He just found out. And the officials, okay, now they're saying jump ball.
Well, it was right in front of Tim Miles, Mike Lewis et al. I thought I saw somebody call a timeout. And they should have right here. Like no, nobody called timeout. In fact, Carr standing there with his hands up. I thought it was Carr that was making a timeout motion, but he was just having his hands up.
Nebraska has never led in this game. They're shooting 31% for the game.
Well, if they can get the ball to Webster and get him off a high ball screen, he's going to get a good look.
Taylor's been the guy in the second half, 11 of his 13 since halftime.
This is the matchup you want, but it's got to be at the top of the key. There you go.
Webster down the lane. Webster scores.
Yeah.
1 point game.
Yeah, they've kept him on the side. Webster forced the action into the middle. That's where he's comfortable. First time he's been able to get there this half.
This time Penn State handles that pressure. It's been a problem.
Well, he didn't handle it very smoothly. The 1-3-1 again.
Carr, what a crossover with the left-hand shot blocked. Stevens has it. One up for the dunk and draws a foul.
What a play by Stevens. Stevens, the freshman Carr, just took it at the zone fearlessly, and Stevens came out of nowhere. We got a little scrum going. Watch Stevens, top of the key. He follows it, great hands, and then strong to the basket. He was either going to dunk it, get fouled, or both. Watch this catch. Whack! And now this is his best jump, and just dared anybody to go up with him. Good for Taylor for doing it.
Now, Watkins was upset, I think, with Morrow. Something happened either as that play was ending or whatever. Anyway, we got that sorted out. First free throws of the game, and they're huge for Lamar Stevens. Made the first.
I think he's tough enough to make them both. I think this kid's a star. Stud.
Second one, also good.
Yeah, not even, barely hit the net.
Perfect.
Yep. Toughness.
So back to a 3-point lead, and now some Penn State pressure.
I think that's a good move. Don't you think that because of the last two buckets, I could have this wrong, but I believe they were from certainly Webster, the last one, Watson previous. I think you have to do something to change it up. I thought it was a really good move by Chambers to put a little heat on, just to disrupt the offense a little bit.
Yeah, maybe the previous one before Webster had been Taylor's jumper, but I get your point.
Yeah, they were comfortable. I guess my point is they were comfortable. And look, you let this kid get in the lane. Look how, oh, that's a nice chin on the rim right there. He just floated around a couple. Now, if you're Tim Miles, I'm telling you, the matchup is Webster in the middle of the floor. Doesn't matter who's guarding him. They haven't shown the ability really to keep him in front, but it cannot be on the side because they're pushing Webster down. Excuse me. Yeah, they're pushing Webster down, keeping him on the side where he hasn't been comfortable. Middle of the floor, give him room, extra pass, swing it around, you'll get something good.
Well, for a guy who's had a great career, the New Zealand native at Nebraska, playing perhaps his final game, he has had a miserable second half. That was his first bucket since halftime. One of the best scorers in this league. Can he make another couple big plays down the stretch?
All right, here's Reeves. Reeves is the guy who wants to be on all Big Ten defensive team. Let's see what he's got against Webster.
With the bad ankle. Webster couldn't quite get by him. That was good defense.
Really good. You cannot leave Taylor if you're number 0 because it's coming towards you.
Watson, 3, good! Tie game!
Oh, man! Hey, you just felt it. You did. When Penn State didn't put this game away, you just felt it. Watch his shot. He has been dancing around all day. Hasn't been able to get anything to go. And, hey, just kick out your right leg. How good is this? Sweet.
They still have never led in this game, but with under a minute to go, they've got it tied with the winner keeping their season alive. A chance to play Michigan State tomorrow.
All right, now on the other end, they have posted Carr when it's been man-to-man. When it has been zone, the 1-3-1 last time, Carr got himself matched up against the middleman Jacobson, went right by him and created havoc, which led to a Stevens 2 free throws. I would assume both things are in play right now if you're Pat Chambers. Post if it's man-to-man, either Stevens, who's been effective, or Carr. If it's zone, drive the big.
They do have weapons, Penn State. They got lots of options. They led 55-46. So since then, the last 4 minutes or so of this game, a 12-3 run for Nebraska to get the game tied. They have never had a lead all day.
And you could feel it. You could feel, because Penn State was just going along at the level of Nebraska, that eventually those two kids, Webster and Watson, would get something to go, and they both have.
So some drama in the 12-13 game. First game of the Big Ten tournament.
No surprise. All year long it's been like this.
We're going to have games like this all weekend long. Here's Carr using a screen from Watkins. Carr to the bucket. Missed the shot, but he'll go to the free throw line.
There was a miscommunication on the screen whether there was going to be a switch, who was going to guard Carr, and Carr, again, just like Stevens, made his best jump, Dave. Watch this. All right, Morrow's going to take him. No, he goes back. Gets behind. And then the foul came in, I believe, from the opposite, or from the side, from Roby.
Yeah, they called it, I think, on Morrow, but I think it should have been on Roby.
I agree.
So 2 free throws. Penn State leads again.
He hadn't made anything in 35 seconds ago in a tie game. He hit that one without even hitting the net as well.
Well, you said it, so many of these Penn State kids growing up in Philly, like Tony Carr, playing in state championship games at the Pac Palestra, under pressure. Can they lean on that experience? Carr made them both.
Net didn't move. Pretty good. Really good. Two tough kids, Stevens and Carr. You got to watch for the 3 here from Watson.
Uses the screen. Baseline. Here's Morrow. Morrow scores. Tied again.
Just went right at Watkins. Watkins didn't want a foul, but he didn't get squared up.
Penn State can take the final shot and try to win it.
Same move.
Carr got fouled again.
And the clock went off. They're going to have to put a couple tenths of a second back on the clock.
Now, I thought they called a foul. Well, what did they call? Just that he threw it out of bounds?
Yeah. Yeah, I was with you. I heard
one official started to call a foul, I thought. And Carr can't believe it. So 2.6 seconds. Nebraska's going to have it.
How's that not a foul from behind by Webster?
I guess did the ball hit the back of the...
Watch as Webster reaches in there and then bodies him.
Did it hit the little support? Is that when the whistle blew? I mean, the whistle came so fast, I thought it had to be a foul because it's not like it had landed out of bounds or hit something out of bounds when that whistle blew, but they're going to just put a tenth of a second extra on the clock. That'll be 2.7 seconds for Nebraska, which has not led in this game. Not for 1 second to try to win it.
I'm going to give you the what every fan in the world thinks. Don't put a guy on the ball here. Put a guy playing center field. Doesn't mean, 2.7 seconds is a little different than what happened with Northwestern, where it was a little over a second. But I'm telling you, every time that I've seen a team lose in these circumstances, they've had a guy in the ball. Here's why. You're playing 5 against 4 if you don't. So you can turn the guy dribbling, or you can keep him on the side. The other thing is you just can't foul. You cannot reach in on anybody. You have to be incredibly disciplined. And the ball, when you're from the defensive side, has to be caught going towards the baseline, not going towards the basket.
All right, Nebraska, 2.7 seconds to try to win it here in the first game of the Big Ten tournament. Taylor. Watson, the heave, no good. We'll go to overtime.
Why not?
Why not?
We've had a record overtime. 13 overtimes in the Big Ten this year? We might as well go to overtime.
Have another one. So we will take a quick break and get you ready for overtime. What a way for the tournament to get started. Yeah, was it close? Sort of. State and Rutgers waiting in the wings, getting ready to play after we are finished. Now you got so much intrigue and uncertainty in a good way in this bracket. I I hope we see a lot more of this. This hasn't been the prettiest game.
No.
There have been some stretches that have been the opposite of pretty, but we got drama.
Don't you think, like people say, the Big Ten's down? I don't necessarily believe that. I tell you what I say. The Big Ten is fun. Very, very fun. We've seen games like this all year long. You know, you've had a few games get out of control, but what the heck? You got, you know, a lot of teams in this league, a lot of games, but this has been the epitome of Big Ten basketball right here. Overtime.
No top 10 teams, according to our metric BPI in the Big Ten, but 8 between number 11 and number 50.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why just that metric alone should tell you this is going to be as exciting a tournament as there is in the country, if not the most.
Nebraska has the ball first to start overtime. 60-60.
This is the matchup. Yeah, Tim Miles did not want Morrow. He just wants Watson to go one-on-one with the freshman.
And he bricked the three.
That was awful. He settled. He should have gone right at Tony Carr. He should not have settled. He settled way too deep.
Stevens for three. Good!
Some guy. Hey, what'd you say, 8 threes coming into the season?
All year coming into tonight. That is a whistle and a foul, I believe, against the Nittany Lions. That's the first field goal in about 6 minutes of game action for Penn State, and it was a big one.
It was huge, and again, you mentioned it with Tony Carr. These kids have played in monster games with monster pressure. Remember, in high school, when you miss, you screw up, guess what? You got to walk the halls the next day. And in Philly, you kidding me? It's big-time pressure.
Well, Webster had just the one basket in the second half. Now in overtime, front end.
No.
He came up way short.
Senior short, freshman making it. You know, it's interesting. I watched Pat Chambers and his staff. They were just screaming. There's a foul right here in front of us.
Peyton Banks, that ball did get tipped, so no over and back violation.
Well, they were screaming not to let Webster get in the lane. If you let Webster get in the lane, you're going to give up 3-point play.
Carr.
I think Carr's got to get it back and go against Roby.
Shot clock winding down, and Reeves couldn't get a shot off. Nobody did. Shot clock violation. I think Nebraska just wanted to play on.
Yeah, of course they did. They had 2 guys down there and nobody else, but that was a bad possession. Carr has been too quiet. He needed to scream for the ball back, spread it, and go against Roby, and I think he'd have gotten to the bucket. You can't be quiet. Being quiet hurts your team. There's no such thing as a great quiet player. You seem to be thinking.
I wanted a moment of quiet to think about what you said. 3-point game.
I love you.
Here's Watson. Ty Webster has just been so out of whack. That's a bad pass.
And then he fouled.
And I think that's number 5, isn't it? That might be the final play of his Nebraska career.
That's a bad way to end it. A little no-look pass. He anticipated something that wasn't there, and then that's a freshman mistake going in and reaching in at 45, 50 feet.
Cannot do that.
No, you can't, because it's not like Penn State scoring easy. You know, now you're giving them a 70-75% chance to score, as opposed to maybe a 33 to 40% chance.
It's been even lower than that the last.
Yeah, I was giving credit.
You're right. Well,
yeah, I don't know. I'd be a bad ref. I'd let that go and let's go play. But
just stay away. Don't do that.
All right, don't put yourself in that spot. Remember, this kid's only a sophomore now, not that kid. That kid's Webster. He's fouled out. This kid right here, Josh Reeves, has played very well defensively. He matched up with Webster pretty well, and now he knocks in both free throws.
I mean, he's the guy who says, I should have been on the all-defensive team of the Big Ten. He took one of the best scorers in this league and basically shut him down.
And crunch time, too.
5-point lead. Nebraska still has never had a lead in this game. Pull up, no good. Rebound, Watkins.
I see Carr bringing it up. That's what I'm talking. That's okay. He was a little quicker that time, so his team will be quicker. 1-3-1 for Nebraska.
Watkins, 18 points, now 10 rebounds to go along with the 7 blocks, which ties a tournament record. Single game. Carr in traffic. Not a great look.
No, did not need it. Needed to look opposite when he made his first dribble.
Watson runner goes.
That's the first one all game he's gotten over the front of the rim with Watson in the vicinity. Or excuse me, with Watkins in the vicinity.
It ain't easy.
Not for me.
Timeout, Penn State.
Good move.
And Tony Carr turned his back to the ball to find the official to turn. I thought Josh Reeves was about to throw it without Carr looking.
No.
But they got the timeout called, up 3 with 2:30 to go.
Here's why it's a good move. They went to the 1-3-1. Pat Chambers knows we need our best. Our best. We don't need indecision here. Whatever our best is. The best has been Tony Carr on the right side going against the middle man in the 1-3-1. It's the big man. It's where the biggest guy, the 5-man plays.
Well, look, the young guys have all shown flashes of why they're so talented, but the guy in the middle, Mike Watkins.
You want to get on our good side? Do this. Block shots. Set a record for shot blocks. And the PR firm of Fleming and Dockich will talk about you as well. He has been everywhere. He's got terrific instincts. He is really good around the rim with either hand. He's made a left-handed shot in traffic in this game. And he just plays.
At 2:30, he'd get a chance at a triple-double. He does. He had 7 blocks. He could block a few in a flurry late in this game. We'll see.
Here's the up screen, little UCLA cut trying to post Carr. Now they run a cross screen.
Shot clock all the way down to 3. Garner 3. Good with the roll. There's number 8. And he's got the record to himself. Single game in Big Ten tournament history. The freshman. 8 of them. Watkins, that ball was kicked. He's had so many of these, Dan, go in and out. Oh, that one went in, out, and back in.
What a shot.
Big time.
You know, and he was kind of falling down going right. A little stumble.
Only 12 for Shep Garner, but 9 since halftime on 3 big threes. Did not throw a good pass there. That's a turnover. And here goes Watson against Stevens. No whistle. Carr saved it in.
Man, the referee, Lamont Simpson, just showed his hands up. When you're in the arc area, you put your hands up, and now technical foul.
Did they call a tech or just a regular foul?
I'm sorry, just a regular foul. I thought the referee looked at Tim Miles, who was complaining. Watch this. All right, you're in the arc area. Hands are up. That's not a foul.
No, it's not.
If you stay stationary and you don't jump, that's a foul. But when you jump, you become a guy. Now, Tim Miles didn't like it, and I thought the refs called a technical on him, but he's wrong. That was a good call.
And it was a tremendous play by Stevens to avoid the foul.
Dave, I say all the time, transition defense is the worst taught thing in college basketball. Stevens got all the way to the rim, protected it. Nobody got beyond him, and he just jumped straight up, showed his hands. Good, no call. Great defense.
So now Nebraska, without their senior, he's fouled out. Ty Webster, they need a miracle. Taylor.
Ooh.
The 3 is no good. Banks had to go out of bounds, but it was off Nebraska. Penn State ball.
Yeah, you just needed to go lay that in. You get points, you pick up, it keeps you in the game. Now, when you don't get points, now you feel like you're deflated, now the game's going to be over.
Yeah, at that point, any empty possession almost ends your chances. You got to get something.
People say, well, of course you got to get points. Well, yeah, take the 2. Don't worry about the 3. You want to get in this situation, if you're Nebraska, Dave, you want to get to a 3-point game where you put game pressure on Penn State where they have to make a free throw. And you do that by just, as you said, no empty possessions.
Shep Garner is one of Penn State's best free throw shooters, was left open in the middle there. And give the Nittany Lions, this young team, credit. They've hit their last 7 free throws. They missed a few coming down the stretch of regulation, but they're making them now.
Well, freshman Carr, 2. Freshman Stevens, 2. Sophomore Reeves, 2.
And Shep's cousin, who has been animated, to say the least, for good reason.
If I was Shep's cousin, I'd do the same thing. Flavor Flav.
Who was the Kansas kid? Was it Wayne Selden's uncle, who kind of had the Flavor Flav style clock he was wearing in the Big 12 tournament last year?
Yeah.
This is the original, though.
It's the man. We have a dating show. Look at that clock right there.
He's done a few different things. Yeah, that's why we call him a rapper and an actor. 3. This one has to go, and it does.
Too easy, man. The clock ran again. They're going. Hey, we might have to be looking for a new clock operator in this bad boy, because the clock stops under a minute, and it should not be at 58.7.
I guess there's some gray area of, did the ball go through the net with still more than a minute?
All right. Now the clock stops, right?
Oh, well, I mean, what if it goes through at exactly 1 minute?
You're right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they're not doing anything with it, so rehire the guy.
You're good.
I'm fine. I've been wrong more than usual.
You'd be like Schwarzenegger on that show. You're fired. No, you're hired again.
Yeah, come on back. That happened to me literally every week working for Coach Knight. I can't tell you the number of times I went home and told my wife, hey, I think we're fired today. She's like, why do you think that? Well, because he told me I'm fired.
It was a hint, at least.
You can go to work tomorrow? Oh, yeah, we'll be fine.
Reeves gets fouled. Well, Penn State makes their free throws now. They're moving on.
Look right now, the empty possession. You're sitting here, a possible 5-point game. Had they just taken the layup. And that's what kills you, because, look, even if you only make 1 or 2, then it's a 6-point game, 2 possession. Big difference. Cannot have an empty possession late.
Overtime, Penn State has lived at the free throw line. Isn't it amazing? Here we are, almost all the way through overtime. And Nebraska still has never, not one time, led in this game. They have played from behind from the opening tip. 4 different times they got it tied. They've never led.
And you got to give Penn State credit. They came out to play, and that's why it wasn't, one of those games where it was going back and forth. As a sophomore, made 2 more. Future is very bright for Penn State, and the future continues tomorrow.
Watson 3. Did he get fouled? No. Out of bounds off of the Nittany Lions.
Oh, man. Oh, 1 catch, and you feel like this game is salted away if you're Pat Chambers.
Nebraska maybe still a little life. They got to go. McVeigh needs to launch. Came up short. They have it, and Nebraska will foul maybe one last time. So it looks like the young Nittany Lions are going to survive. An almost disastrous collapse at the end of regulation. So how do you like the matchup with Michigan State?
Well, they played Michigan State great when we watched. I think this is a different Michigan State team. I think that Michigan State and their toughness and their strength does not affect these kids at Penn State. And Michigan State, to me, it's going to come down to who shoots the ball better. Because, look, usually Michigan State can bully you, fight you, but these kids are tough. And really, Watkins can negate anything Nick Ward's going to do. But you mentioned this earlier, and I think everybody that's watched Big Ten basketball will agree. If Bridges goes off, there's nobody out here can guard him.
No, he's the guy. That one goes down from Taylor, who could dominate the game.
If I'm Penn State, I like the matchup. And again, we go back to the game was played in the Palestra. You and I did it, and it was crazy. It was the greatest environment maybe at Penn State since the early 90s when they played in the old university gym. So this is going to be fun tomorrow. This whole tournament's going to be a blast.
What a way to get it started
yeah.
with an overtime game. Not always pretty. And maybe you'd say that about the Big Ten season as a whole. It wasn't always pretty, but we had drama.
Hey, not always pretty, but always fun. Every game is fun in this conference.
Penn State advances to take on the Spartans of Michigan State. Pat Chambers with a win with this freshman-laden team. They came up with some huge plays down the stretch and in overtime.
And not only the plays, but the free throws. They just were fearless at the line. Good for Penn State. Tough loss for Nebraska. Penn State rolls on.
For Molly, for Dan, Dave Fleming saying so long from D.C. Let's take it back to the studio.